welcome to the Nürnberg Messe podcast. I'm your host, Shunakshi Chakravarti, and if you've been following our series of podcasts, you know that this is the one-stop shop where we bring all industry leaders, industry experts on this platform and for them to share their insights from their particular area of work and sector. When it comes to the media, broadcast, and infotainment industry, there is a new technology on the horizon every single day. And in Mumbai, we've just commenced 30 plus years, the 32nd edition of the Broadcast India show alongside Content India and Scat India at the lovely center of the Jio World Centre, where we've met hundreds of such exhibitors displaying the latest technology. But it is important to highlight industry stalwarts and experts in this particular field. And I am sitting with one such guest in this very special conversation, Mr. Prasanna K, who is the business head of the media solutions at Real Image. They are the pioneers of media technology in the country and globally, God willing. Thank you very much, Mr. Prasanna K, for doing this with us and giving this time to us. I want to begin by asking you, of course, you've just commenced and seen the 32nd edition of the Broadcast India show. Your first thoughts?
We have been actually growing to the international standards, and definitely even we get the same response from OEMs who are much satisfied with the kind of quality of crowd that comes in. And overall, the show has been always improving. And past 2 days or post-COVID, we were all suspicious about how the response is going to be. World has been shut down, and post-COVID, what would it be like for these shows, international shows, or even the OEMs coming down? But it bounced back in a big way, and I think the show is excellent. And moving to Jio is one more advantage, a big advantage. It's brought elevation to the overall show.
Right.
The experience has been really good.
Thank you so much, sir. Let's dive right in. And I always begin by asking this question to my guests. There is always somebody who's probably not aware of what we're doing, who we're talking to. So, like I always ask, for the uninitiated, tell us what is Real Image if you were to describe it to them. What is the Real Image story?
Yeah, so Real Image dates back to early 90s or late 80s, you can say. So the founder director, Mr. Senthil Kumar and Jayendra. Senthil is a computer sciences engineer, and he comes from a legendary, the AVM studios. So they have a history, and they are into from the initial days of film in the country. And there were people driving technology since the film days, those days. And Senthil, after I think they started a media artist as a post-production house. They wanted to give the audience a better experience of sound. So in one part of the innovations, the best of post-production facility was to be set up, and it was done in Chennai. This media artist has been good in post-production. They were well known, and the biggest of titles have come out from there. And way forward, Senthil felt that we have such a vast industry actually, and we do the number of productions were always high on this, and the audience hunger is more here. So apart from broadcast, the film, to start off with film, the focus was more on that, and it was always Senthil's vision to have the latest technology, what is available for Hollywood and others.
Okay.
So Senthil was a person who drove non-linear editing into the country, where traditionally film was cut on strips.
Right.
So negative, and people were used to the linear way of working, both in film as well as in TV. So Senthil, his foresight is so much that he understood what all flexibility it brings in and what all efficiency it has. So since the right from the beginning, so we actually Senthil introduced Avid to India. So now we are almost 3 decades partnered with Avid. And we have brought in, there are a lot many pioneering like Real Image. The company started off as, from media artist, it was started as Real Image. So Real Image is a technology provider to the industry, be it any pro audio video and the cinema as well.
Okay.
So Real Image had its reputation bringing in innovative thoughts, even into cinema as well as video also. So starting with the non-linear editing, which I was saying, the DTS sound. So the sound was one aspect which gives fullness to the user experience. So DTS was brought into the country by Real Image.
Okay.
So many such first times were there, where technology was available rest of the world, but not in India,
Okay.
and it was not so easily accessible. So Sendil always had that hunger to find out what is the latest in technology. Let us get it to India.
Okay.
And to claim some of the views, we were the first to set up a virtual studio in, I think, late 90s. And it was one of those largest virtual studios that we had,
Okay.
where it was not even imagined in this region. This was for one of the public broadcaster. So anything to do with technology, Sendil always had that very far-sightedness, real image as such, and we are continuing with the legacy.
Mr. Prasanna, I think you've answered all my questions, but I will still ask you some of my questions.
Okay.
There's Qube Cinemas and there's Real Image, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But which one? I'm sure Real Image branched out of Qube Cinemas, but
No, it is the other way around.
oh, I'm sorry, Qube Cinemas branched
Yes.
out of Real Image. So, what was the motto behind that? Why? I mean, what was the need? What was the trigger to do so?
Yeah. So when it comes to digital cinema processing, so in 2000, early 2000s, the thought of digital cinema end-to-end processing, there is no more film print delivery. So it needs to be the quality is one and the flexibility. So that is where Senthil's thought of building a digital cinema solution in India.
Okay.
So 2004, 2005, it was productized. It was branded as Qube. So Real Image Company, it brought in Qube Technologies, so Qube Cinema Technologies, which does end-to-end processing and delivering a DCP for the film, digital film release.
Okay.
So we had our own indigenous product of the server as well and the mastering. So we are, I think, if I remember it right, we are the one among the three who are DCI compliant across the globe.
Okay.
So we are very proud that Indian company had brought in such a standard, which is meeting to the Hollywood. It can serve to the Hollywood audience. So then, when the brand started growing, because digital cinema is world over, while Real Image we were just focusing into India and surroundings of India, but cinema as such, it's not limited for us. Actually, we can explore much more. So the brand over a period grew very large. And in India today, I think we stand about 3,500 screens. And world over, now Qube has different verticals.
Okay.
So the brand has been growing in many folds. It is then very sensibly felt that Qube is the larger part of the business now.
Right.
And Real Image, of course, is there. And in pro audio, video, or the broadcast segment, we are known as Real Image. So we didn't want to give away that name, Real Image. So Qube is the legal entity now. Qube Cinema Technologies Private Limited. So now Real Image is a division of Qube.
Okay. When we speak of system integration, I was just reading up a little bit about your company. What are we talking about exactly? If you can just decode that for us.
Yeah, especially in the broadcast domain, while system integration, it is not limited to broadcast alone. It is also about right from setting up a mixed theater, large mixed theater, Dolby, so which we integrate everything for any end customer. So they have thoughts, they have a process, they have the necessity of doing things. As technology experts and having seen technology, and one of my major responsibility when I joined this company as a manager technical services in 2005. So responsible for the customer experience and customer success, but also my other responsibility, which Sendil himself was doing, I was very proud to take it on my shoulders. That I go to the international shows, I visit people, I interact with people, I understand what are the trends of technology, media technologies, and we are very selective and choosy about partnering with someone, unless we are very confident, and we have some of the elite products in our bouquet. So our profile is complete. When it comes to a customer, there are different processes in a complete chain of be it broadcast business or a post production or even a cinema production. So everything is in Xylos actually to some extent. So then from my end customer, he wants one point of contact who understands the complete process end to end and who is knowledgeable and who is an expert in all the areas of the entire chain.
Okay.
So that is where the integrator comes, system integrator. So while integration can be a technical integration, a workflow integration, You need to make it a seamless process. So the end user will not be bothered. He is a creative person. He needs to focus on his creativity. So he is not going to go through this technical complications. So for him, I need to like off late people are asking for a single sign on, whatever be it. You may have 30 processes running behind, but I need to make it simplify it, and I need to call out any suggestion or any escalation that is required. I need to have a single point of contact. So where the system integrator part comes.
Okay.
So what we do as a system integrator is, of course, we first go to the customer, capture the inputs, analyze them, and from our experiences, collective experiences, what we do is we put together a workflow and we put the blocks of systems and processes there. We discuss with customer where any improvement is required, because you may have the same, like for example, we are the primary representatives for Avid in India, which is very globally very large, and we are proud that we cover more than 60% of the national broadcasters, and we are covering in other regional areas also. We have, to our experience, we have done more than 60 newsrooms in the country. So each newsroom, the solution may be same. You may call it an interplay production asset management system or a storage. But a storage in site A versus site B may be completely different when it is being used. So this customization part, where it suits your workflow, your requirements, that is where now technical experts' knowledge comes into place, or integrators' knowledge comes into place. So we actually iron up things, we smoothen that, we find out what is required. Okay, they may have a preference choice of graphics, they may have a preference of automation, or any other end user applications. We need to ensure that everything is integrated well and the job process is well coordinated. This actually improves the efficiency.
Now let's shift focus to technology, since you are the pioneers in media technology. But technology just generally has impacted us and is continuing to affect us in a good and in a bad way. We are so influenced by the
Yeah.
technology, right from the morning when we wake up to the time we go to bed.
Yeah.
Technology is just surrounded us. But when I have to specifically ask about the media and the broadcast industry, for someone like you, and I've asked this to all industry leaders, that in your time, in over 2 decades, 3 decades, 4 decades of work experience, in your perspective, in your analysis, what are the shifts that you have seen from your early days to 2023 as we sit here?
Yeah.
As this podcast is being shot on one single, this smaller device,
Yeah.
from a time when we would shoot
Yeah, we
from
would have
such
an entire crew coming in.
an entire crew. And so what, how, my question is that in your time so far, what are these shifts that you have seen, and what is exactly a real image tapping on there? What bridge are you gapping, or what are you tapping on when it comes to media technology?
Yeah, so a traditional broadcast, starting from a traditional broadcast where we were running through the tapes and going the analog days, back to analog days, the technology was very complex and complicated, not accessible to everyone. And anything, as you said, rightly said, the podcast which you are doing now. So even I see, even my daughter does that. So kids actually have the smartest of tools. See, the overall technology is the complication. What was there? It was a science actually. I'm not saying it is no more a science or it's anyone can do. The fundamentals are definitely need to be studied very well, and the technology is available. Why the shift of technology is, while it was complex in a time where only select people would have got exposed. Today, with information available on the internet and any technology to explore is available on the web, so people have access to technology. This technology shift is coming as actually a boon if you make use of it responsibly. So what you would have used, or what you would have produced using your complete efforts of a day or a two, can be done in half an hour now. So technology, if it is rightly used, and without, like as you said, you don't come with a DSNG or OB van coming for an interview. So even the backpacks, like we see a big shift from satcoms which are used,
Yeah.
the DSNG kits where you have the satellite
Correct.
transmitters coming in and you have a big thing when news broadcast comes. But now it is all backpack. You have bonded technologies. So technology has simplified media production
Okay.
while it has taken care of efficiency. We were used to black and white, then we came into color transmissions, and color, of course, the raster was very small, like we did a standard definition. Then we moved into larger pictures because every house is now having larger panels, and you want to see the quality as well. So earlier, the content, if you listen it on a radio, that was fine. Then you see it on a black and white, it was fine. Then a little color gave even more interest to the customers. Then you have the customer user experience has been, the demand has been increasing, expectation is increasing. So to serve those customers with all these evolving technologies and changes, customer gets exposed internationally now. You're not looking at the Indian market only. Like if you see in India, we had one public, what is it, this broadcaster. We were left with that. You need to wait for the program to start, the channel to start at 6 o'clock, and the schedule, you need to go by the schedule. But today, the user and consumer is free. He can actually schedule his time. He can be at his own to see the content what he likes, right? So to enable all this to the users, you need to have the right technology. Earlier, it was the broadcaster who actually provides content, and whatever his content is or his playlist is, so you are forced to see that. Today, it is varied, diversified. Anything not only from this region. I can say, like, you would be interested in seeing musics from Korea. People, I don't know, they have, my daughter also is very crazy.
K-drama.
Yeah, K-drama.
K-pop.
So yeah, so it is not limited to region. Same as Indian content is very well received in the other regions.
Right.
So, and if you see, because why people are able to churn out, I think 1800 movies a year in India.
Oh, is it?
1800 movies in India.
Wow.
So
I wasn't aware of this number.
yeah. So about 1800 movies it is only possible because of technology.
Right.
See, where you had the laborious, a linear fashion of working it, now you have parallel process working. You have a non-linear process of working. So which has increased the efficiency. So
speaking of users, then who is your target audience, your target segment, and are you meeting that? Like, do you see that that wish is being fulfilled of targeting that audience?
see, target audiences for us, anyone for whom audio, pro audio, and video means uh, it is required for their process or business. So they are all our audience and customers rather. So we look into right from be it education area or a broadcast media. So our targets can be widely, like if you see the larger investment on technology, while individual may be limited not to explore the entire technology range. Sports broadcasters, where content needs to be provided in the fastest turnaround time with the best of quality. And there you have scope to explore technology. You need to explore, you need to be innovative. Else, it can't be like a news broadcast or it can't be a package story, anything. It should be very dynamic. So that areas people can invest more into technology. So while you may not have a post house investing into, while post house are looking at larger pictures, higher resolutions, we went up to HD, and though we catch up very late in the evolving technologies, India, this region, for various reasons. Not that we are not aware of technology, it is about the ROI as well. So the post house may not invest heavily. The sports kind of people or reality shows who need quality and innovativeness. So these are the main areas where they have scope to explore technology and they're willing to spend as well.
Okay. I'll ask you something just before I ask you about your role as the business head at Real Image Media Solutions. And it's important to ask this to you because you mentioned about Indian content, not just taking center stage in India, which it always has,
Yeah.
but now taking center stage globally.
Yes.
And I happen to ask this question to a couple of filmmakers and cinematographers at the show as well. But I'm also interested in knowing from you that Indian content, when we talk about Indian content, as you rightly mentioned, it is no longer limited to just Bollywood.
Yeah.
And actor, actress, hero, and villain, it's not just limited to that. There's OTT now.
Yeah.
There's theater coming back. We see theater coming back all over in the metro cities.
Yes.
I have friends who go to theater now, proper theater, not the cinema hall, but to
Mhm.
go watch plays. And so when we speak of the Indian content, one can tell the same story in different languages, not just
Exactly.
one, but thousands, hundreds of different languages and dialects. That's the beauty of Indian content. So my question really here is that for someone like you who also interacts with your global, partners and customers and people outside of India in this business, what is their response and feedback to Indian content generally? How do they see this? Like, is there a really big scope of Indian content going bigger than ever before? I'll tell you why I ask this, because with all our Oscars and Grammys and our nominations at all these film festivals, we may think that that's the end of it. But I don't think an Oscar recognition is the end of Indian cinema. I think it's just the beginning. We're just starting to tell the world the India story.
Yeah.
So how do you view this as somebody who's a pioneer in this space, media technology?
Yeah, while the content of interest maybe in the other regions can be a episodic or a cinema, which can be actually translated, and you can release it, and even the user from other regions can experience it. The news as such, so which is very particular, specific to this, are local happenings. So this may not be of any interest for other regions, but that is for a person who is from that region. But today, most of the Indians we have, all the young generation, they are abroad. Many people are settled. You have, the percentage of population that's in Canada or US. So who are interested to know what's happening back in the country. So news is reaching out to regions. I'm saying it's not just limited to GEC or a web series or a cinema episodics or a music album. It is actually getting into the news as well, which is reaching out to other regions.
Right.
So where people are interested to know about. And this is all possible because of technology. People are still worried. Even Hollywood, what strikes going about generative AI, right? So generative AI, if you take it the way actually it is, I would feel it is a blessing for the industry. You are actually enabling your content to be experienced across the globe. So be it, there are pros and cons of every technology. So while it is handled with more responsibility, definitely it's going to be very productive and it will increase the efficiency.
You are now coming to your role at Real Image as the business head of media solutions. Since you took over, the journey so far, how has that been like? And if you can share your growth story here with some numbers or some figures that you can share with us.
Yeah. So Real Image, the culture is that of course every company has the designations, and we also do. So we actually, it's a team effort. When it comes to technology marketing or media solutions, providing media solutions, this part of technology, when you're presenting to a customer and meeting to the industry, it is not a product that we sell. So it's a solution. So the entire team's effort is very much important. While one may be a business head, one may be a technical support head or a services head. So we are equally responsible. So I have been driving this always. And while the designation changes to business head, the more on your shoulders to also target and achieve the numbers. So I joined this company in 2005 as a manager technical services because I am from a technical background, and I joined this as a manager technical services in 2005. Then I was given more larger responsibilities, expanding to other regions as well. And because today when you speak about technology, it's unlike any sales. So here you need to be completely aware of what you talk, and you're talking to CTOs of channels who are the authorities in the subject. So you need to have a deep understanding of what you're talking and the workflow, not the product alone. The product, anyone can learn a product and talk about the product. But unless you are understanding what your customer says, what his intent is or expectation is, you can't put forth a solution. You can't be a solution architect unless you understand the customer's requirement. So while the business head is not just about numbers, it's also to retain customers and educate customers and bring in innovative thoughts and technology to them to improve their efficiency. So while for the numbers, definitely COVID has been, of course, every industry was hit. And in our company, the digital cinema was much badly affected than the broadcast division, because at least the channels were not shut. News was what could actually keep people engaged. And we could manage. COVID has taught many things to many people. So we actually were able to manage support remotely, and we had to enable remote workflows during COVID. So while the remote support is one, keeping the customer's business going on, that was more of a responsibility, while the numbers were not churning out. COVID was really a shocker. It's pulled down everyone. But now, blessing, God blessing, it is post COVID, we are bouncing back many folds. We are having with much more energy. So all the projects which were to upgrade, like India, they were most of them were SD, standard definition. They had to upgrade to HD, and there were expansions getting into other genres, like they were getting into sports, larger enterprise networks, and these were all parked and held. So the COVID brought in silence. So whatever the customers, existing customers, we had to manage. Now I am blessed that we are very happy, Real Image, that I may not be very accurately giving you the numbers, but on a percentage basis, I can say we had a straight 100% jump.
Wow.
Yeah. So while everyone is stressed out because we have a deadline to deliver everything at the same time.
Right.
So we have customers across the country. So we can't prioritize that this is a larger customer, this is a smaller customer. Customers are customer. And Real Image ethic is we are customer centric people. So we value customers definitely. First is their satisfaction. So now within the team's capability, collective capabilities, we are trying to deliver everything, and there is upcoming election happening. So for the news especially, where it is a challenge, everyone wants to be completely prepared for the large elections. And again, the sports. So if I may go back, post-COVID, what was the success story that Real Image had? We had done a very large post-production setup for the Sports 18.
Okay.
So the IPL was a very good, interesting project, and of course, it came up all of a sudden, and we had to meet the challenge and ensure that customer is given all the solution completely, whatever, to meet his workflows.
Okay.
And it was definitely the best of cooperation from customer as well.
Right.
And we all put our thoughts, and that is how Real Image engages. Real Image actually gets into the customer. We actually step into their shoes and understand from their perspective, and we take it as our responsibility. So that is where Sports 18, IPL, FIFA, we started off with FIFA, then the Women's IPL, then the IPL followed by IPL. Okay. Of course, there were some of the leagues. This was excellent project that we did. So they also had it immediately scaling up because they were winning rights left, right, center, and they need to have a facility. While our part is, I can tell you for the broadcast, there are two verticals. Okay. If you see the technology part, one is a broadcast IT part of it, and one is the video engineering part of it, where you have the baseband signals, your studios and all to be controlled. So we actually fall into the broadcast IT part, where your asset management, storage, clients, applications, automations, everything come in place. We need to bridge between these two and create a seamless workflow.
Okay, so Real Image, keeping it as real, and of course with the numbers or the percentage that you've shared, many congratulations, sir.
Thank you, thank you.
I really hope that there's more success stories that we'll be talking about in the
Yes.
in the near future. Last couple of questions before we let you go. Some of your upcoming projects or assignments or deals, as they say in business language, that we should know, some sneak peek, something to look forward to.
No, see, now the trend is more of digital OTT and VOD platforms. So we have some of the largest networks which are looking more focused into investing into technology, because the demand as such, every day the demand increases, and innovativeness is required. It is not just uploading your content to the YouTube, which every kid is doing today. So you want to be innovative, having an application which is very different from others, and user engagement is more interactive, it should be. So all these requires technology. We are seeing a trend towards people like, there was actually, the gestation period was quite long for this to actually come into a shape. Now the framework is set, while digital still the governance is being framed in. The digital business model is actually kind of actually clear now. So people are interested to invest, especially the large networks. They are investing into technology in a big way. That is our focus area now, where we are well equipped with products like Wild Mocha we represent from France, so which is a very good SaaS-based solutions, and we have lot many other offerings to enable a platform as such. Like we are today capable of having partnerships of spinning out. If you want to start a OTT channel of your own or a VOD, we are capable of. So our main focus, there are a couple of which definitely I can't reveal the names, but there are two large networks which are thinking in a big way, transforming their digital platforms.
Okay.
So these are the upcoming projects which are very interesting, and it will be a challenge, definitely challenge in the good sense, for us to meet. And I think that would set us definitely an edge over others.
I think challenges are good, right?
Challenges are always
Challenge
good.
always
Challenges,
welcome.
yeah, yeah.
All
For
right.
technicians, people from technology, challenges are well taken, and we are always ready for challenges.
My last question, what is the future of the Indian media infotainment industry? And I ask this because only leaders like you can give a broader, I'm not looking for generic answers like it's bright and it's good. Of course it is.
Yeah,
Of course it is. But to be a little more specific, in a slightly more maybe critical sense, what is the future? And I also ask this because we are also living in very the environment, the ecosystem, we're also very politically charged, and the every day there's, when it's news related, there's something or the other, in the age of misinformation and fake news and
yes.
WhatsApp university forwards. So what really is the future of the media and infotainment industry?
So the future as such, it is evolving definitely. The end user consumers who are consuming the content also are looking out for genuine transparency.
Mhm.
And unless you are going to see a platform maybe catching eyeballs because of the content, be it AI generated content. But still, people are now knowledgeable. They know across the platforms, they are exploring, finding which is a deep fake,
Mhm.
though it may be difficult. And we are seeing world over, there is a responsibility being built, governance is being built. There are various committees which are coming in together. I think if that is regularized, it will be more serious business. Like people who are actually genuine and being transparent, win the trust of customers, will have a longer run. And for the entertainment part, there are people are exploring different technologies. Like even Cube, we have a new vertical called the Cube Studios. We have partnered with Annapurna in Hyderabad.
Mhm.
So, like if you see technology part of it, virtual production across the world is today
Mhm.
the buzzword. So, like we had 3D at a point of time. Today, virtual production is there, which is enabling a very controlled atmosphere environment. So, where you can decide what kind of a location you want, and what is the environment, or what is the which part of the day you're going to do.
Mhm.
You have a complete control on the production. Any technology has its own, it will be expensive at the initial days, but I'm seeing that over a period of time, virtual production will be accessible to many. We started a large floor in Hyderabad.
Okay.
It's a JV between Annapurna Studios and us. Annapurna is known for its class of studios in the country, and we, as technology, we partnered on the technology front of it.
Mhm.
And this vertical, it's going to be not just to Hyderabad. We have some plans of opening up in Bombay and other major cities.
Right.
So this is a Cube Studios vertical.
Okay.
So when you see the future trend of technology, I think more of productions will focus on virtual production.
Okay.
So where the cost of production over a period of time, definitely while it's giving some advancement in technical technology as such, the cost of production, if you see for an episodic which is going to run like a Mandalorian or a Star Trek
Mhm.
kind of a thing, we have some long running episodic which may be a science fiction kind of a thing, which are much easier to make, and you can have more realistic output
Okay.
in a virtual production. So this is one trend that I'm seeing. And digital, while you say OTT and VOD is expanding in a big way, as I said, we are meeting that standards, the
Okay.
requirements of customers as well. And I think end users will be playing. It will be more of interactive videos.
Right.
So
My absolute last question then is AI Chat GPT,
Yeah.
and so many others. The list is big. What is your take on things like these, tools like these, and should we be afraid of losing our jobs? That's the debate.
No, that's a valid question, and that is what is being more discussed outside. And people are, I would feel, for me, because I understand technology and I am looking from a technical point of view.
Mm.
I am not worried. Rather, I'll be happy whenever a new technology comes in. I have more tools to explore
Right.
and more products or solutions to sell.
Mm.
So, as you said, for the creative people or
Yeah.
someone saying like we had a session on generative AI.
Yeah.
So one of the gentlemen was worried. He was a journalist and he said, there is nothing copyright protected or anything. There can be privacy, there can be piracy, and there can be bias always.
Yeah.
And this is all is a concern now. I don't have a way to monetize my content also. I have put in efforts into it. And how do I do it? These are all valid concerns, if they are concerns. Now, the other side you may look into is, you're talking about generative AI, but where we started, you had large amounts of content that's coming in. Broadcasters were growing. They started off with one channel, they went to 2, 3 channels, 15 channels, 20 channels. Now your libraries are increasing. And how did we manage those libraries? We were having card systems, tape cards, and then we did a register library, typical register, traditional library management. Then we had the computers and maintaining it in Excel sheet. Then we wanted to have some library management system. Now, what is the content? We had a name to the file, or you may have a dope sheet, but that was not sufficient. I need to repurpose my content in a better way. So then, to repurpose, you need to sit and tag each and everything, which is laborious. And over a period of time, people would have had 20 petabytes of content, or if you put it in hours, also like even some of the news channels will have 30,000 hours of content. Even so, to tag all this, we needed a system where AI came into picture.
Right.
So you wanted to set some algorithms where all this logging is taken care much faster and your content is all tagged properly. At that time, we thought that tagging people would lose their jobs. They didn't lose their jobs. Instead of doing this laborious job, their efficiency has increased. So the information what like superficially people can tag, a name, a situation, an actor, an event, or location can be done. But what is much more inside, a strata level metadata. So that is where we wanted to have a AI. This improved the workflow and reduced the laborious job of a person.
Okay.
But still they continue. Now more media is efficiently being used. While you have done this, you will be looking forward for something else. There's more demand. So now, okay, why should I, if I'm working on a project, I have a deadline. I should have something more to suggest me something, a recommendation engine. Generative AI is what that does. If you look at the right parts of it, I'm editing and I'm working on a project today, and this project has some relevance to some shots which are available in a library or repository, which I might not have time to explore everything. Okay. Right? Yeah. So the generative AI is looking into your media, it understands what you're working, and it says, I think this could be your A role, and this could be your B role. What does it do? You're not losing your job. You're putting a better content output. You would have not used those B roles if you're not told about that, because you have a deadline to deliver. Yeah. So
it'll just make things easier for
things
this
easier,
industry.
efficiency and quality.
Yeah.
So it is a different way to look in. And for example, today, ChatGPT, everyone in the general office, corporate office also, people who are finding it difficult to have a communication, a mail communication, even to draft a resume or draft a letter. So they are now very common to go into a ChatGPT. And some people may copy paste it and do it. But if you think it is a draft one.
Yeah, it is a draft.
And the decision is human. That is where your efficiency increases, your quality increases. So you're getting a thought, your perspective could be one. The machine has generated and suggested you something, and you are not going to take it. There is a human intervention. That is where you make sense. So similarly, be it a script writer, there are certain areas of concerns where we need to have some controls. Like you can't clone someone's voice, and you can't do deep fake. Okay, you can't say that I'm going to have someone, the best of dubbing artist, and today I'll just clone his voice and make him read my script.
Right.
No, not that. That is something wrong, of course. So, which will not happen that way. If a serious production house is there, they'll not do it. Could be for a childish, like it's a pre what amateurs who are doing that.
Mhm.
That could be a fine. It's part of their research, and they're doing. They're not serious broadcasters. But no serious broadcaster will get into such things. They'll use the efficiency, improve the efficiency in the workflow. So nothing to worry about generative AI. Take it in the right sense, the right way. I think. Future will be much more. It will be much more of quality that we can see. The content, what we see, what we consume, would be much more valuable in the same given time.
All right. So, Mr. Prasanna clearly being very positive on tools such as AI and Chat GPT and other tools, but more importantly, discussing all that is evolving and emerging from the media and infotainment industry, all the latest technologies in this industry. And for somebody like him and his company that has been pioneering and stirring all of this and taking India's recognition, I think, to global heights. Wonderful chatting with you, sir.
Thank you,
Learned
same.
learned some from you as well.
I
Like
hope I didn't
18.
bore you.
No, no, not at all.
Yeah.
Podcasts are meant to be informative.
Yeah.
And it's nice that you gave us some insights into this industry. And we will keep doing this with you. But for now, thank you so much for taking the time out and doing
Thank
this
you,
with us.
Sonakshi.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
sir.
Thanks a lot.